fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going the outside of both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to him.
Oh my God! Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?
Well, good evening and welcome all to the Ozicar Formula 4 Series. This round coming to you from Circuit Tsukuba in Japan. Massively different characteristics from where we were at Bathurst last round out. Much smaller circuit, much tighter, more technical. Close wheel-to-wheel racing, though, is what we are expecting once again to treat every round in this championship, and this is round 6. David Haynes here with Jason Fewens. Jason, these F4 cars in this championship, they're small and nimble, and they're a real sort of racers racing car.
Yeah, definitely nice, agile, provides really good racing. They're very, very receptive to slipstream. We won't see a lot of that here, but it'll be a lot of heavy braking and passing opportunities on this tight little track here tonight. It's not a wide track, but these aren't wide cars, so there will be an opportunity to go 2 or 3 wide around certain sections of the track, but it's going to take a game man and a lot of trust in those around you to do exactly that.
Add a bridge on and it's Japan's Oran Park potentially. Short little straights, a couple hairpins linked by some sweeping corners. Last corner and in towards turn 1. Probably your best overtaking opportunities, but who knows what will happen. It's a pretty strong and solid grid. 30 plus cars potentially. They're not going to get much room each. So we get ready for race number 1 of 3 in this fast-paced sprint format in this round. Qualifying, I'd have to say, pretty important around a track like this with a field like this, and Stuart Vaughan has the pole position for the standing start ahead of Thomas Hinz, Cam Dance, Adrian Duke, James Chastanoff, Vasco Sorowski. Again, a lot of long-time Aussie car regulars up front. Alex McKellar, Nathan Verney, Reese Howell, Brody Shepherd, Donald Sabinell and Sean McKenzie. It's going to be our top 12 as they all start to line up on the grid.
Yeah, some big names and title contenders in the top 12 there, but a couple sitting outside as well that you could look to make their way through the field. You've got Sean Doyle, who's shown really good speed throughout the opening rounds. Alongside him is Matthew Harriott, Scott Harvey and Darren Shannon off row number 8. Brady Baldwin and Ira Philberg make up row number 9. Leon Williams, Dean Russell over the page, side by side on row 10. Then we've got David Baz and Roy the Boy Clark off row 11. Dennis Hancock and Brody Tressida, they round out row 12. And Craig Kerman, Ben Wheeler, Warren Henry, Darren Lassou, John Snell and Peter Bowling make up the next few rows. We make our way towards the back of the grid, and Liam Banks and Max Lumsden failing to put in a time, so they are going to sit at the back, hope for a little bit of carnage up the front and pick their way through.
Well, they're ready to go. Half of the field at the back looped around that final corner. Standing start, launch away for Stuart Vaughan, but he can't cover off. Oh, and he's going to make contact with Hinz as they head in towards turn number 1, 3 wide. Another little tap there. Hinzy trying to get up the inside of turn number 1. Vaughan, big elbows out, trying to defend early on. Look at the whole field snake through the S's in towards the next hairpin where Vaughan gets it down low, defends the inside, and Cam Dance then sneaks through on Thomas Hinz, who thought he could grab the lead early, hasn't been able to. 3 wide up the back here. Respect given so far. Quick right-hander underneath the Dunlop Bridge. And then they're immediately down into towards the braking zone of another one of these hairpins. Drivers trying to hustle and position themselves early with this 3-race format. Stuart Vaughan, though, still holding on to that lead despite not a perfect getaway.
Yeah, relatively clean start there. Looks like they're all in single file. Most of them in single file as they end at the first lap anyway in the background. Taking a few corners for them to get into that format after an early hustle-bustle with everybody with their elbows out. Braking zone now for the start of lap number 2. So the top 3 have made a bit of a break there, a good half a second away from P4 at the moment, which would be James Chastanoff sitting back there. But the top 3 making an early break for it, and 15 laps in this 15-minute race, so there's not a lot of time to play catch-up. You've got to make those moves nice and early.
Already had first little incident. Lap 1 super clean, but now there's a couple cars in the barrier here. I think that was the sort of turn 4 banked hairpin. They're trying to get going again. What happened a little bit deeper in the field, given the progressive grid nature race to race here until we get to our top 10 invert, you don't want to be having problems like this in race number 1, and I kind of put that down to a concertina effect into a big braking zone with lots of cars nose to tail.
Yeah, David Baz and Matthew Harriet involved there. You can see the two of them on the screen in the pink and the orange, nice and distinctive colours. Both of them got a little bit of wing damage to the front, but still circulating more importantly. So not being a huge draft track, that's not going to be critical to their race, I wouldn't have thought, other than they just lost a lot of track time and position.
Track really narrows up through that turn 1 hairpin, flat out through some little S kinks there into that turn 4 hairpin, and then got to manage the car a little bit in that right-hander, but then you're just shaping up again for how you're going to brake in towards a bit of the banking at the far hairpin here. And a little bit of problems with some of the curbs there. Brody Shepherd's going to pick up another spot from Nathan Verney, who drops back, and they were watching Brody Shepherd, out of line through that hairpin. Different lines get taken through this fast sweeping final corner. Some drivers tip it in early, some tip it in late. Everyone wants to use as much of that painted concrete as they can to carry speed towards his braking zone at turn number 1, shaping up for the move. But like I say, the track's always half the width on the exit of the corner as it is on the way in.
Yeah, Nathan Verney there looking pretty dangerous under brakes, looking for the pass on Reese Howe, I think it was, there in front of him, but ultimately decided to back out of it. Wasn't quite going to make that move stick, but this track's another one off there in the background. That's car number 23, John Snell, making his way back on. So you can see David Baz make his way through on there. So no harm, no foul, just a little bit of time loss there. But jump on board a VRS at Virtual School Replay now, and we might exactly see how that unfolded. So Max
Lumsden then goes and has a problem. Just the downshift with the turn in, locking up the rears in a very sharp corner, and gets away with it. 5 laps almost done now. Stuart Vaughan still holding that lead. He's got Dance and Hims right with him. They've got a bit of space back to James Chastanoff. This is a circuit that really needs that consistency, and that is how John Snell lost the rear. Turn number 1, not a hot track, 20 Celsius. So just getting a little ambitious as the car maybe gets light over some of the crests. The curbs here are not massive, but surprisingly challenging for cars like this. And this is your top 3 in your podium fight.
Yeah, quite a few of these hairpin corners are quite banked, so you can carry a lot of speed, but the back end of the car can also step out. We've seen a couple of drivers get caught out by that already in these early opening laps of the race, but the top 3 now making a bit of a break away from Chastanoff, sitting in P4, so it's just over a second back to him, and then he's got another half a second back to Duke, sitting in P5. So cars starting to spread themselves out just a few little battle packs. Still enough here to keep us interested as we jump on board with Savinal, and he is trying to hunt down Nathan Verney on the car in front. Hard on the brakes, makes up another couple of car lengths, but Nathan might just get the better drive on the exit out of there as they make their way under that iconic Dunlop bridge for the change of direction.
This feels like exactly the kind of track that F4 cars should be racing on. Regional competition, aspiring drivers. Savinel looking how he's going to get past. You can't rely on the slipstream on a circuit like this. You've got to set up your opponent like karting and say, okay, if they defend into this corner, then I'll over-under into this corner. Have a look this way. Narrow look into the final corner. Not pay any profits for him on that one. But does it then set up Nathan Verney in towards turn 1? No, it doesn't feel like it does either. You are really looking for a mistake, for wheel spin, for a lock-up, for going wide from the guy in front if you're going to pass him easily here.
Yeah, nature of the beast here at this circuit, like you said, is really important to set the car up well for an exit, because quite often you'll put the pressure under the driver on a certain corner, and it won't be until 2 or 3 corners later you actually get that opportunity to make the move done. So top 3 now, still making a bit of a break for it. It looks like they're extending that lead slightly. They're playing the team game together again. Different lines making their way through that final corner, which is going to ultimately determine their run onto the straight. Down past the short start-finish line to make another lap. But being a short straight before they're hard on the brakes, it's not really too critical that those different lines are going to play a big effect.
Just trailing that lock up a little bit from the full send. Cara Brody Shepherd, he's in behind Vasco Sorofsky. You've got just a couple of little air gaps around this field. Otherwise, it is pack racing and it's fast and ferocious. So you got your top three, then a gap to the next three, then the gap to this group of drivers here. And then the next gap, everyone's battling. You've got to go down to John Snell in 30th for someone who's not battling. That's how Tsukuba does it and goes in these style of cars. Lumsden and Baz, this is what we're talking about. 27th and 28th. Are these guys battling for the win? Nope. Are they having a good cracking F4 scrap, trying to set each other up, trying to go over-under around the tight, twisty confines of Tsukuba? Absolutely they are.
Yeah, hard on the brakes again for the not change of direction for the switchback. Short run here across this straight. Very, very important to get a good drive out of here because it is one of the passing opportunities on this track. If you get a good drive out of that last corner to stick the nose down the inside on this sweeping right-hand bend. Not close enough this time. But again, those different lines through that final corner just really, really evident and quite obvious there. A lot of drivers searching for grip at different parts of the track. Thomas Hinds now currently third. So he has had a pretty good start to the race. He's only dropped back one, but more importantly, he's there sitting there with a clean car and he's got no pressure from behind.
He did look for that inside line, try to get through into turn number one on lap number one, but it was robustly defended. And that's been Stuart Vaughan's MO every race we've seen him. We've thought Bathurst, Phillip Island, circuits like that. Oh, do you want to be in first? Do you want to pick up the slipstream on the last lap and try to play super speedway rules? But Vaughan has never done that. He's always said, no, the lead is the lead is the lead. And that's where I want to be every single lap if I can. Dance and Hinds just all over him all race so far, but not getting through because they're not able to find a mistake.
So we have 6 laps to go. The laps are ticking by very quickly here as we expected on this short circuit, possibly the shorter circuit we do visit on the Ozicar Formula 4 season this time round. Thomas Hinds there, just a late apex through the corner, hugs that curb on the inside. A little bit further back in the pat, the battle is just as intense as it is up the front. Vasco Sorofsky here looking back at car number 55. That's Shepherd behind him, looking for an alternate way through turn number one. Hard on the brakes, can't get the move done just yet. 5 laps to go. Time is quickly running out for some of these drivers if they want to bag a heap of points for a race one.
Biggest difference you seem to see around this circuit, driver to driver, is how they turn into these corners. Some of these hairpins you can kind of brake in a straight line pointing towards the apex, take the short line down low and then square off the exit. Other drivers opt to stay a little higher on their turn in and turn in a little later. You see it at turn 1, you see it at turn 4, you've seen it a little bit here in this battle. And also for the final corner as well. Again, some drivers turning in a little earlier, like you see here, some drivers turning in a little later. Both lines seem to work out about the same by the exit of the corner, but it might be just what you need to sow a seed of doubt into your opposition. Again, pointing down the inside, but not getting through.
Yeah, cheeky look there down the inside, but ultimately backing out of it. That's car number 29 there that was having a bit of a look. That's Reese Howe. Again, just following the leader through here, but he's got to be pretty careful. He does have Nathan Verney on the back of him, and Nathan is a very quick driver, and he will be keen to make up any spots he can, particularly if the 3 in front get into a little bit of a battle. He doesn't need a second invitation to get involved.
Vaughan still holding on to that race lead right here, right now. There'll be 3 laps to go at the end of this one. Again, Dance turning it in early with more speed. Vaughan setting up a slightly later apex. Did he have to get out of the throttle a bit on the mid-corner? He's got to defend the inside now, and will Dance take the opportunity to go break deep, turn in from late, try to cut back underneath, but nothing going. So a little mistake goes unpunished from Stuart Vaughan. Cam Dance can't get through. And what is Thomas Hinds going to do from that 3rd place position? At least the way they're going at the moment, they keep pulling time away from James Chastanoff, Adrian Duke, and Alex McKellar in the next group behind. So if they want to start battling each other, there's no loss and no harm from giving it a go.
Now there, Thomas Hinds looking pretty racy. If he's either going to play 2 games here, he's going to try and make the move on these 2 in front, or do you sit back and wait for car contact and come through and just be handed the lead through default? But knowing Thomas, is a racer at heart, and he'll be keen to lead this under his own merits rather than have it handed to him. Looks like we do have a change for the lead up the front for the first time since the lights went green.
Not the pass I was expecting to see. Dance all the way around the outside of the final corner, but then didn't cut back across to cover the inside into one. By the exit of one, though, he's got the lead. Cam Dance, 2 laps to go, leading F4 from Tsukuba. Can he hold on to that one? Vaughan just pinched down in the sweeping final corner. Seeming to be struggling with maybe the front left tyre struggling. That's a tyre that's going to get quite a bit of work through this final corner, but then also through some of the hairpins. And here's Dance just really sending it Speedway style up high, hoping to find some grip out there. And he just managed to do so. It was clear, could have come across to break down the middle of the road, but he didn't. And if anything, this is the biggest gap anyone's had. He's got a couple of car lengths there. Vaughan on the final lap now could come under pressure from Thomas Hinz. And he has a wobble, braking and turning into one. Not an optimal line. Hinz absolutely underneath his rear wing. Trying to grab second if he can on this final lap. Cam Dance getting away. Shepard has gotten around Vasco Surovsky.
Yeah, great little battle pack sitting further back in the field here at the moment. Any one of these drivers here could make up a couple of positions just through someone else's error, but all the action is up the front of the pack here at the moment. Cam Dance ready to take victory. Race number 1. It's not over till it's over, Dave.
No, absolutely it's not. 3 short, sharp races. And from a bit further back on the grid, Cam Dance is working his way forward, and he's going to take the first race win from Vaughan and Hinz. This group behind, Chastanoff managed to drop Adrian Duke and Alex McKellar a little bit, and Brody Shepard just holding off Surovsky, Howell, Verney, Sabinel. Your next group comes through. I don't know, can you say on for young and old? Because no one is having a boring race, and we see that consistently in Ozicar. There might be some speed difference, from the guys at the front of the field to the guys in the middle to the guys at the back. But the guys in the middle get to race the guys in the middle. The guys towards the back get to race the guys at the back. No one comes away thinking, well, that was boring after 15 laps of Tsukuba.
Now, the Formula 4 is putting on a show as we expected, and a track I've been looking forward to since the start of the season is finally here. So going to provide some really good racing. We are back for another couple of events before we are done here tonight, so don't go anywhere here on Ozicar. We'll have a quick look at the standings as they finished in race number 1.
Yeah, indeed. Cam Dance from Vaughan, Hinz, Chastanoff, Adrian Duke, Alex McKellar, Brody Shepard, Vasco Surovsky, Reese Howell, Nathan Verney. Look at your top 10. Only 9 seconds across them. And again, without a massive slipstream. Keep flicking through from Sabinel, Brady Baldwin, Dean Russell, Sean Doyle, Sean McKenzie, Brody Tressiter, Roy Clark, Dennis Hancock, Ira Felberg, and Leon Williams, because you take that top 20 and you invert them for our grid of race number 2. Leon Williams has the pole position. The rest of our finishers, Craig Kerman, Darren Shannon, Scott Harvey, Ben Wheeler, Max Lumsden, David Baz, Warren Henry, Darren Lesueur, John Snell. They're ready to go for race number 2 already, though, and look at this. Leon Williams on the pole, trying to get away cleanly. Little bit of wheel spin, but getting away not too bad towards turn number 1. It's a track that's difficult to pass. It's a top 20 invert. So what about your race 1 winners? How easily are they going to be able to work their way through? Vaughan, 4 wide, got balked in the traffic. And this is going to be almost about survival for some of our championship contenders in this race number 2. 3 wide through the turn 4 hairpin, a place where you can find a bit of speed and grip up high with that subtle bit of banking to the corner. 2 wide through here. Just keep your nose clean if you can, guys.
Yeah, a lot of congestion into turn 1, even more so than what we saw in race number 1. So plenty of brake lockups there, a few drivers being caught out, but I didn't hear too much chatter on the radio, so I presume everybody's made their way through. There's a little bit of carnage coming out of the hairpin. The second to last corner I can see in the background, but more importantly, the cars up in front that are leading this race have got some clean air in front of them. So a 198 of Leon Williams makes his way across the line to complete lap number 1. That's a lap led in his book. So lap 2 of 15 already. Doesn't take long for these guys to make their way around. You can see the cars in the background just filing through. They're still battling for position side by side through a couple of little battle packs in the background.
You can see it on the timing column. The driver from our top 3 of race number 1 making the most progress cutting through the field is Cam Dance. Where's he up to now? Up to 12th, maybe up to 11th now and shaping up. Mackenzie for 10th. The other guys, like I said, Cam Dance has a little bit of contact there and it sends Sean Mackenzie around and he's losing out big. Vaughan and Hins got a little boxed in more on lap number 1, weren't able to move forward quite as quickly. Now it's too wide. Oh, and there's a little more contact there. Race number 2, not quite as clean or tidy as race number 1 was. It's Ira Felberg who ended up out wide on the final corner. Kind of 3 wide. I think was Vaughan down the inside. We're going to have a look here at Dance. Did he have any right to try to get down the inside there?
Yeah, well, actually, we were on board when it happened. It looked like netcode, but I think the netcode took effect before the contact was going to be made anyway. It looked pretty inevitable. Sometimes you've got to take those risks. In this case, it potentially didn't pay off for Cam Dance. It might have been James Chastanoff there also making contact with Ira Felberg, as we see on the screen as he bounces along the tyre wall. But more importantly, back to the front of the race, Leon Williams still out in front. I think Roy Clark sitting in second. So
has Brady Baldwin gotten through for the lead? So Leon Williams still holding on to his second. Sean Doyle up here in third as we cut to shameless fan service cam. And Roy Clark, Dennis Hancock, Dean Russell, Reese Howell, Brody Tressiter, Don Sabinell, Cam Dance, your top 10. Here's Baldwin getting through. So he's right on Leon Williams as they come towards this far hairpin. And he shoots down the inside. Williams looking for that wider turn in or just expecting it leaving the space. Some drivers will cut a little closer. Oh, Alex McKellar has a big problem in that corner as well. He's in the wall and he's lost his rear wing. That's probably the most damaged F4 car we've seen so far this race. Yeah,
being an open wheeler, they are actually quite robust, these F4s. So it must have been a relatively hard contact into that barrier for him to lose that rear wing.
Hinsey behind him looking to outbrake down the inside. McKellar taking that line that points towards the apex and makes it sort of a closing wedge.
Some of our pace setters from race number 1 in a little bit of trouble here in race number 2, trying to make their way through the traffic. So both Cam Dance, Thomas Hins, podium getters in race 1, finding themselves with car contact here in race number 2. So there is a carnage everywhere on the track at the moment as we look at John Snell sitting in the sand, not going nowhere in a hurry.
Guess that's Craig Kermond. Oh, Snell spins and Kermond pile drives him there in turn number 4, the left-handed hairpin. So only 5 laps done and already so much happening in this race number 2 at Tsukuba. Remember, this then sets the grid for the final race number 3. So for the likes of Brady Baldwin, he's capitalized pretty firmly. Sean Doyle looking to as well. Leon Williams just very tidy there, holding on to his second place. I'm sure he knew when he got that invert pole position, if he can just be tidy, he can get a good result off of that. Bit more contact here at turn number 4. That's one of the hot spots. Oh, no. Nope.
Yeah, disappointing there, but potentially trying to do the right thing and just puts themselves right on the racing line. I think that might have been Dean Russell making contact with Roy Clark after Roy got a little bit loose coming out of turn number 1 there. So we'll just jump on board this VRS replay again. It shows exactly what happened. Contact being made and looked like the cars might have got tangled up there at the nose to nose there for a bit, but inadvertently trying to untangle himself, he just put himself in a more dangerous position.
Seeing Cam Dance there was trying to go around the outside, trying to take off some spots. Now he gets down the inside of turn number 4. Big slide. Speedway style there, but he gets that one away. So Williams still holding on to second, Doyle in third, Dennis Hancock fourth, Cam Dance now up into 5th. Reese Howell, Brody Tressiter. Oh, he has a huge moment there and he's going to lose some of his gains. Brody Tressiter right behind him now as well.
Yeah, Reese Howell taking that opportunity to get the position back, relegating Cam Dance back to P number 6. So Might have overcooked those tyres, put a bit of excess heat into them, so he might just have to calm things down for a lap or two. No, he doesn't do that. He goes straight back for the attack. Big dive under brakes into turn 1 and takes back that position. So his next target up the road is Dennis Hancock. A couple of cars up, car lengths up the road, but Dan's definitely on a move here in race number 2.
Look at them all in this section of the grid. Like Brodie Shepherd went around in the background there, and it's let Stuart Vaughan and Thomas Hinds up into another spot. Now Cam Dance looking around the outside. He's tried this before, trying to get round the outside of Dennis Hancock, and it looks like it could work. Hancock slots back in a line. So then the next targets, Leon Williams, and Sean Doyle is up into the second spot for the moment. Kind of halfway point of this race.
And plenty of action in the opening half of the race. We do have Brady Baldwin out in front. He's got a 2-second gap, so he's up from P9 to the lead of the race. Doyle now sitting in second. He is up 5 positions also to sit. And Leon Williams, who led the race, currently sitting in P3. He's got a bit of a gaggle of cars behind him, and our race 1 winner in Cam Dance right on tucked underneath his rear wing. So he's got his rear view mirror absolutely full of fluoro yellow for a moment. Just ducks off the racing line, allow Dance through on the inside. So that puts Dance back onto the podium from P20 for race number 2 here. But potentially a penalty coming his way, depending if the stewards see it that way after that early car contact. So Dance really keen to make as many positions as he can to minimise any damage done through penalty.
So Baldwin with a 2-second lead. Quite a way away from all of this. This is your second through to 8th place here. Sean Doyle about to catch a little bit of lap traffic. I might guess it's Craig Kermond from the dramas he had earlier. It's two quite familiar to each other, and you see a big screaming group come through like this, and I don't want to be in the way of that. Just personally, that's how I'd want to race. So Doyle and Dance. Williams still doing a good job holding on to that 4th place. Well, doing very well indeed. So yeah, no dramas there for Sean Doyle to get past. No Doyle dramas for Dance to lap as well. Very, very little time to try to close up that much time and space to Brady Baldwin at the lead of the race, though.
Yeah, Brady putting in pretty good lap times there on track at the moment. So Cam Dance got his hands full with Sean Doyle there, separated by just a mere 0.2 of a second. Action on our screen as we look at the moment. A bit of a brake lock up by Doyle there, so he definitely knows Cam Dance is on his tailpipe. But Doyle there going to fight to the death. He's a racer through and through. And we've seen Sean put in some really good results earlier in the season, so we know he's got the speed to be running up the front. Very, very late on the brakes from Dance. Again, looking for that outside run out of that hairpin. At this stage, can't get the job done, but he's as close as he has been in a number of laps.
Looking for the inside on the final corner, really getting it in there. That is a bold one. He washes out a little bit on the outside. Never shy away from a contest. Sean Doyle doesn't seem to quite have that one covered. So Dance now up to 2nd place from 20th on the grid in this one with 4 laps to go. They've taken a little bit of time out of Brady Baldwin, but he's no slouch whatsoever. Oh, huge dramas. They spin it around. Was that Baldwin? And then Cam Dance also looped around. Sean Doyle into the lead. Leon Williams back in a second. Take a look at that at turn 4. Dramas for the leader, Brady Baldwin. Here's how he ran. Looking for his line and his braking zone just to keep it tidy into turn number 4. Turns it down. There's a spun car. And he loops it in response. Dance loops it in response to that. Oh, Dance. No, I'm sorry. I don't like that rejoin, matey.
Yeah, just absolute carnage there on lap, 12 of 15. So we are in the dying stages, but out front, Sean Doyle got clear air in front and behind. I am expecting our Simspeed chat on YouTube to go absolutely nuts at the moment, as I'm sure Donna's typing as fast as she can to cheer her son on. He's got the race in the bag. It's only his to lose, but I don't want to say anything. Commentator's curse is a real thing, and I'm not getting involved in this week. So nice and smooth. All he's got to do is bring it home from here, and the battle for second and third is on. So separated by 0.2 of a second there for the final spot on the podium. And if those guys come together, there is a gaggle of cars behind there just gagging for an opportunity to bag a heap of points.
So there's Reese Howell trying to jump down the inside of Leon Williams in the final corner. It's going to compromise both of their runs a little bit. Dennis Hancock and Donald Sabanel right in there. Leon Williams almost looking to go back down the inside. Almost a hip and shoulder there as Sabanel tried to go around the outside of Dennis Hancock in turn number 1. Does not work. Stuart Vaughan now is up into 6th place. So he's been a quiet little beneficiary of all of that. In blue and red, but not quite the white knuckle livery. He's in this big group, battling over 2nd place.
Big dive from Vaughan there on the inside of the Milo car, and car contact. Up and over she goes, and Chastanoff just having to take evasive action and head off onto the grass as well. So Dennis Hancock just sitting, unfortunately, off the racing line, but facing the wrong way. VRS replay will show you exactly how that all unfolded. Wild ride there by Vaughan. We were just talking up the praises and the gains that he was making. But unfortunately, car contact and all that hard work's been undone.
Looked like just loosens up Hancock and then goes for a ride over him as he tried to jump down the inside of Sabanel into that corner. It is the final lap. Here is your race leader, Sean Doyle, a second ahead of Reese Howell, slowly reeling him in a little bit. But it is a short lap around here. Time will run out, probably. Leon Williams is 3rd place from Donald Sabanel. Well, I think they all waited till race number 2 to go absolutely crazy at Tsukuba. That is for sure. So here's Doyle out the final corner, looking for a race win in Ozicar F4, and he's going to get it. Not only that, he's going to get the pole position for race number 3 as well from Reese Howell. Williams holds on to a podium spot, and Donald Sabanel right in behind him here. Hins, the only one to really survive from your race 1 podium. Nab's 5th spot.
Yeah, some surprise results there in race number 2, but that's what an inverted grid really does. Cam Dance making his way now across the lineup. His car looks relatively straight compared to all the damage he's had. So
he's been through the lane.
Yeah, very fresh, and he was keen to get out of that car as soon as he possibly could, as soon as he crossed that line. So race results for race number 2 here at Ozicar Formula 4 Series. Sean Doyle taking the win by 0.8 of a second over Reese Howell. Leon Williams, our pole sitter for race 2, coming home with a well-deserved third place. Great result for him. Donald Sabanel, Thomas Hins, and Brody Tressiter there, separated by a couple of seconds. Scott Harvey, Stuart Vaughan, James Chastanoff, and Ben Wheeler. They round out your top 10.
You know the board game Trouble? You got like the dice in the center and you pop the bubble. That's what this result looks like. We put everyone in and shuffled them around in an order that you might not have predicted, with Brody Shepherd and Dean Russell, Nathan Verney, Sean McKenzie, Darren Lesueur. Cam Dance there in 16, Peter Bowling, Vasco Sorofsky, Roy Clark, David Baz, a couple cars a lap down from some of these things, and it only takes 2 cars to make a little bit of contact for one of them to be half spun, for everyone in the immediate vicinity to have to take evasive action, and there's just not the space around here with everyone so close together. So little things become big problems very quickly at Tsukuba. I'm sure many of these drivers found, like Dennis Hancock and Matthew Harriott, Ira Felberg, Alex McKellar, Warren Henry, John Snell, Craig Herman, Brady Baldwin. Could have been a winner, ends up in 28th. He won't be so pleased with that. Darren Shannon, Adrian Duke, 2. How many did take the start? So Max Lumsden definitely took the start, but I'm not sure we saw Liam Banks. A crazy race 2. We'll take a tiny break here to catch our breaths on Simspeed TV, and when we come back, it's the final race of this Tsukuba sprint with race 3. Ozicar F4 Series, brought to you by some great partners, which I'd love to see, Jay. He's going to press the button, yep. course, Prestige Trophy Badge and Engravings, long time supporters of Ozicar and many a champion. Been very happy to have a little bit of hardware on their shelf. Of course, Sim Racing Leagues, the Locked On iRacing podcast, and the No Social Hate campaign. Teeny break. We'll come back for more F4. Hopefully racing, but probably mayhem.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
Two-thirds of the chaotic racing from Tsukuba Circuit Japan completed for Ozicar Formula 4 Series at round 6 here. Well, we've had the endurance style format at Bathurst. Now we've got this with the super sprint at Tsukuba. What have you been making of it, Jason?
Yeah, well, I think if they look up collateral damage in the dictionary after tonight, there'll be a hyperlink to race number 2 here at the Ozicar Formula 4 series, because there was plenty of examples there of drivers getting caught up in someone else's instant, and of course coming out of a second best. So there'll be a lot of drivers buried deep in the pack after race number 2, and they will be looking to amend things and redeem themselves in race number 3. So again, 15 laps for race number 3 here tonight. Not a lot of time, as we've seen, for drivers to make moves. So you've got to make them fast, but you've got to make them clean, because just a little bit of car contact, and as we've seen, it ends in just drama and bad results for those involved.
So how they finished race number 2 is how they start race number 3, with Sean Doyle on pole position. It's the grippy side of the road, but it is the outside in towards the right-hander turn number 1. Reese Howell might be looking down the inside from his spot second on the grid. And then Leon Williams, Donald Sabanel, Thomas Hinz in there in 5th. Could be on track to be the round winner if he can bag another top 5 result in race number 3. Got Brody Tressiter there on his outside for the row number 3. Scott Harvey, Stuart Vaughan, James Chastanoff, Ben Wheeler, Brody Shepherd, and Dean Russell in the top 12. It is still a solid field in this championship with Vernie, McKenzie, Darren Lesueur. Cam Dance is going to have to start deep in the field. They're all ready to go. What are we going to get for race number 3? There is Reese Howell. How does he get away? Cleanly, but with no wheel spin. Sean Doyle immediately looking for the middle of the road, hoping to consolidate his lead into the first corner of this 15-lap race.
Yes, turn 1 of race number 2 was pretty congested, but you look in the background, looks like everybody seems to be making their way through. The lessons has been learnt, and things have cooled down a little bit. Again, 2 or 3 wide around the hairpin, but plenty of room and plenty of respect given on these opening laps, because as everyone knows, you can lose it, but you can't win it on lap number 1.
So one of the trouble spots was this far hairpin corner. Cam Dance looking to keep moving through the field. The Orbit Motorsports car down the inside here. Doesn't get the drive he would have wanted off the corner. They're still too wide in so many places of this field. Sabanel and Hins both picked up a spot from Leon Williams as he drops back into 5th. Here is Dance down the inside of the final corner. Went around the outside in one of the previous races in a pretty unpredictable move. Just keeps trying to work this short line, this short run through a clockwise circuit. Vaughan totally wheel to wheel just in front, looking for the inside here on, I think that'd be Chastanoff, and he is just going to grab it. Almost collects Stuart Vaughan though, as they concertina through these corners. They pick up speed and then they just keep finding hairpin after hairpin here at Tsukuba. Shepherd gets squeezed out there. He can't carry his momentum anywhere to get past Chastanoff.
Yeah, Shepherd getting a really good run out of that hairpin there while Chastanoff took the wide line. Dance goes through on the inside as well. So Shepherd losing a position, but finding himself back in the P11 exactly where he started 2 laps ago. But up the front of the field, they are going too wide through the last corner, and you can see Howe and Doyle out there rubbing elbows. Looks like Howe taking the lead at the moment. He's got bragging rights, but Thomas Hins looking for a way around the outside of turn number 1 of Sean Doyle as well. So we saw Cam Dance make that move stick in race number 1 it was to take the lead, and Hins has just done a mirror copy of that to take P2.
You got to think a couple corners ahead in this style of racing, don't you? Howell consolidates that lead, but Hins, by watching the guys fight in front through the final corner, going round the outside of turn number 1, got that inside into turn number 4 to move him up into 2nd place. And Sean Doyle goes from riches to rags a little bit. Cars coming together in the background there, and here's how Brady Baldwin ended up in the wall. Might have just clipped someone and got some steering damage there. Again, everyone's so close together, little touches become little slides, become big problems. A couple cars around here, and that is, again, a massively damaged car for Scott Harvey.
Yeah, again, a little bit of car contact. It doesn't take a lot. And there's one sitting bang, smack bang on the racing line coming onto the main straight, and he has been collected. Just sitting there lollygagging away and got punted in the rear end with very little warning that it was going to happen.
So on the live pictures here, Scott Harvey, sorry, on the replay now, Scott Harvey, that's side by side with Vaughan. Vaughan looks around the outside. I swear this happens in the final corner, doesn't it?
Yeah, so lead up to the incident, there was plenty of going on there with cars running side by side, so we'll see exactly how it all unfolded here.
So, Vaughan tapped to the back of Scott Harvey, then gets looped around in the checkup, and yep, and it doesn't quite end there. David Baz trying to get on the tow truck, but not in time to save him. Getting a little collected back there. Lap 5 of 15 now. Reese Howell still leads, but Hint's got clean air and a right to fight Craig Kermond. Just
Poor Craig,
a whole lot.
Yeah, minding his own business, and poor David sitting there with only 3 wheels and an invitation to going nowhere in a hurry, unfortunately. So he was just a sitting duck. And again, collateral damage. Those 2 drivers now potentially out of the race after contact from a couple of cars earlier on. So it's all happening here tonight on Simspeed TV. We promise some exciting racing, but at the expense of a couple of cars. It's not exactly how we wanted things to play out. But out in front, we have Reese Howe by just under half a second. So Thomas Hins on his tail, sitting in the P2. Sean Doyle 1 second back in 3rd at the moment. So the front of the field has just settled down a little bit while all the carnage was happening behind them.
Yeah, so we've got a couple battling groups once again. This for the lead. Doyle trying to hold on to his 3rd, just in the background there. That car pulls the pit in, which gets out of the way for Reese Howell to pick and choose the line he wants through the final corner. Sabanel trying to turn in late to carry speed onto the pit straight to try to attack Sean Doyle for 3rd place. Brady Tressida still just sitting there in the full send car, watching the 2 in front play out. Cam Dance is up into 6th, just behind them as well. And he, pretty sure, has the fastest lap of the race. Won't take long for him to close up what realistically is only about 10 car lengths or so. Back at the leaders.
Yeah, so we jump on board now and we have a look. We're on board with Thomas Hinz as Howell makes a bit of a brake lock up, but has the outside run out of the corner. Hinz deciding not to push the issue and just falls back in line there because we are only halfway through the race. Howell taking the defensive line, Hinz taking the wide line, looking for the switchback as they make their way around to complete another lap, carrying good speed and really making a bit of a gap to Doyle sitting back there in third. He has his hands full with Sabinal all over the back of his rear wing, but Hinz again taking the lead of this race for the second time tonight. Howell's not going to hand it over though. He's going to go battle all the way right down to this left-hander hairpin.
Hinz knows all about it. The outside for turn 1 can give you the inside into that corner, so it takes a couple to complete this move. What that does is it lets the cars behind get a little bit closer. Hinz has now got to fight to try to hold that lead, defending from Howell, but if he gets a tidy run through here, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. A lot of smoke in the air from the group behind. Sean Doyle and Sabinal have been caught by Tressida and Cam Dance, and is that...
Yeah, it was Roy, Darren Shannon and Adrian Duke getting caught up there in the hairpin, so... Big gaggle of cars here, 5 cars, and I think only 2 of them make their way out of it, so... Might have been Roy Clark getting loose in the back end, and Duke and Darren Shannon there just out of sympathy doing their best to avoid the contact.
All on for the lead of the race, and as they fight, a big pack behind closes in. It's only a second from Reese Howell here in second place to the group, led by Doyle, contains some really quick and pedigreed Aussie car racers, Cam Dance and James Chastanoff. Look at them, nothing really in it when you look down the back straight, with still plenty of racing to happen. Howell with the narrow line into the final corner. Hinz looking for that late apex, carry the speed out onto the green concrete, braking uphill a little bit in towards turn number 1. Narrow line trying to defend it. Dance is having a go, gonna rub with Brody Tressida behind. But then again, you got to get all the way down the inside of turn number 1. Otherwise, you find yourself outside in turn number 4.
Yeah, Dan's taking the high line there. Looks like he's got a good drive, so he will have the inside for the switchback there. Exactly what Thomas Hinz did a couple of laps ago with Reese Howell up the front. So the outside line for that hairpin definitely allowing the driver to carry a lot more mid-corner speed and then get the better drive out of the corner. So he's pulled a car's length in a short time on Tressida there behind him. So he will have eyes forward focused on the car in front, which is Donald Sabinal. But Chastanoff and Tressida there now battling for P6 and 7, I think it is there on the screen. Chastanoff looking for a dive under brakes, not close enough this time, but it is enough to put the wind up Tressida, who does have a brake lock-up as close as you want to get there from Chastanoff. They are almost rubbing wheels, but somehow they both seem to make their way through without too much damage.
A little bit of camber there, working for some guys to make some moves around the outside of turn number 4. So Chastanoff into 6th and now just blocking out Brody Tressida. Hinz with the lead from Howell, but this fight between Doyle and Sabinal costing them a little bit of time. Cam Dance closing in on them. There is less than 5 minutes to go. It's about to be 4 laps to go when they cross the line. Massively wide line from Dance, watching what's happening with the 2 in front, trying to work out where he can position his car to get through if they slow each other up. Alex McKellar has got Matthew Harriott. 2 big movers in this race so far. McKellar started out of 24th place and he's into 11th and trying to shape up Leon Williams for a top 10. Matthew Harriott came from 22nd on the grid. He's in 12th right now. Adrian Duke just behind them came from 30th on the grid, right up the back after a horror race number 2 to get into 15th place. Look at that.
And of course, Duke having that incident with the Roy Clark and Darren Shannon there a couple of laps ago as well. So he has lost some time, but still sitting P15, so a good result for him. So we focus on the battle for third at the moment, third, fourth and fifth. This is Sean Doyle, Donald Savinor and Cam Dance. Dance taking that dive under brakes. Again, he's made that move stick a couple of times already tonight. Donald Sabinell giving him room. They go side by side, if I can spit it out, down through the S's there. Again, Dance on the outside line while the Camber's working with him, and he gets that better drive out of the corner and gets the job done.
Sesame Street. This move brought to you by going around the inside of turn number 1, keeping it side by side through 2 and 3, around the outside of 4 to have the inside, and finally cut them off and take the position in 5. And so it's taken him half of the damn lap to get into 4th place. Donald Sabinell thinks about it and decides, no, I'm not going to be able to pull that move off. Really wide, and the front left tyre starting to take some punishment there for Cam Dance as he gets 4th place and is looking at Doyle in 3rd. Hins has started to break from Reese Howell in 2nd, so I put to you that 1.04 seconds is the biggest lead anyone's enjoyed almost all night long.
Yeah, so it's just under a second now, so Hins looking like he has made his break for it. He's shown his cards and he's gone for broke with 2 laps to go, so Howell sitting quite comfortably at the moment. A bit of a gap back to Doyle there, who is sitting in P3. He did manage to get a bit of a gap while Dance and Sabinor fought for P4 and 5, but as we cross the line, I think we're almost getting the white flag this time by, so Doyle doing everything he can to hold on to a podium.
That's right, just 2 more kilometres now as Thomas Hins starts the final lap. And the battles rage on behind him. Oh, huge amount of oversteer from Sean Doyle. He goes backwards across the grass. Donald Sabinell and James Chastanoff managed to squeak by Cam Dance, who had a millisecond to react to this. It's just an inch of grass, a little spin, and there goes through Sabinell into 3rd place, pursued by Chastanoff. Battle's all on here. Dance is missing his front wing. He locks up hugely. He's just got to limp this thing around. Thomas Hins on a victory march here for the final corner. The checkered flag's waiting for him. He's going to take the last race win with a 2nd, a 5th, and a 1st. He's going to take the round win too at Tsukuba. Reese Howell started 2nd, finishes 2nd. That doesn't tell the whole story. Teammates Tressida and Shepherd managed to steal a couple spots in the final lap here as well by keeping their front wings on.
Yeah, Tressida and Shepherd both racing together for the latter part of that race and crossing the line of 5th and 6th. You can see Duke there crossing the line for P15, so he is up 15 spots from where he started in this feature race here tonight. But tonight the chocolates go to Thomas Hins, like you said. A couple of podiums and a top 5 result, giving him the win overall for the night. So he'll be walking away with a big smile on his face, a bag full of points, and a great contribution to his championship campaign.
Just a cage fight all night in the confined spaces of Tsukuba 2000. Thomas Hins takes that victory in the final of 3 races. All about a bit of luck, a bit of placement. Reese Howell capitalized from his starting position as well. A couple good results there for him, with 2nd place in race number 3 and 2nd place in race number 2 and 9th in the first race. We've got Sabinell, Chastanoff, Brody Tressida and Brody Shepherd there, just taking that spot away from Dance on the final lap, who only just held off Dean Russell as well. And then McKellar and Harry at the top 10.
Yes, it's action right down until the drop of the flag. Leon Williams in P11 here tonight. He had company of Dennis Hancock there on that final lap to finish in P12. Sean Doyle crossing the line after that spin on the final lap to finish the race in P13. So not a total loss, but a story of why and what could have been. Nathan Verney and Adrian Duke in 14-15. Ira Felberg at P16 tonight with John Snell. Good result for him. P17. Warren Henry, Roy Clark and Ben Wheeler. They round out your top 20 this evening.
They do. Let's go through the results and the wounded. And the missing and the dead, I guess, from race number 3. Vasco Sarovsky and Craig Kerman 1 lap down there, 2 laps down. Peter Bowling and Darren Lesueur. Darren Shannon, Stuart Vaughan, Sean McKenzie, Scott Harvey, David Baz, Max Lumsden. Tales of woe in the final one. And Brady Baldwin, I mean, could have been on track for a race win, led some laps there. Didn't quite come off for him in the final race. And no Liam Banks in this one tonight. They stay in Japan as they go to Okayama in 2 weeks' time. But we stay with you because we got some drivers to have a chat with.
So we'll drag up our first place getter for tonight's feature race here at Tsukuba. Sorry, Dave, help me out here.
Tsukuba.
Thank you very much. Easier to say than to read. So Thomas Hinz, welcome to the commentary box, mate. How'd that all play out for you?
Yeah, interesting, wasn't it? Quite interesting. I mean, I guess for these sprint rounds it always is because they're at these very short, very tight circuits. So yeah, it was. I mean, first race was pretty typical. That was, just sat behind Cam and Stuart and was sort of looking to get by, but I thought I'll take a third if I can just stop under that. I was surveying on hoping for them to sort of wipe each other out, to be honest. So I just thought I'll just take the third. That's good points. It was there, Chastity, and then yeah, the second race was just messy for me. I just made some really rookie errors there. So big apologies to Adrian and Alex for hits on them in that second race. It was just rookie hour for me. So got to 5th, but obviously I'll get penalised for sure. I'm guessing it'll be a minute, so I'll drop down to 20th or something, I'd imagine. So helps that Cam got wiped out as well in that one, so I shouldn't lose much to him, but I'll lose a bit to Chastity. But yeah, then came in that third race, and yeah, managed to get a good jump and just played it smarter, much smarter than the second race, which helps. And yeah, I was able to pick them off and pick off Reese there and hold on for the win. So it's good to finish off the night strong. Good to have 2 good results there. Shame for the second race, but obviously Stuart DNFing the last helped, and then I think Chastity had a few issues in the second one too, and obviously Cam had issues in the second and the third there at the end. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to see where that all lands in championship wise.
Yeah, the stewards will be busy over the next 24 hours, I guess, revisiting a lot of the incidences and doing what they've got to do in the background. But championship results will play out all in due time. But nonetheless, a great result. We'll focus on the feature race because that's where we walked away with the win here tonight, making a clean break in the dying laps by taking that win over Reese Howe by just over a second, but he certainly didn't let you have it. He was battling with you, and you were going side by side through a number of corners. So you made your work for every single point that you earned tonight.
Yeah, correct. As well, we're just in the phone room there. Big kudos, as I said to them there. But both to Donald, Reese, everyone up there, really everyone, all all races was really good, which is great given the nature of the track. It's as we were all just finding and sort of discussing there throughout the races, we're all finding it was very tough to overtake unless the guy had made a mistake or you were significantly faster. That really was the only way to make a move. So if you were only just a little bit quicker than the guy ahead, even that was very tough to make a move. So big kudos to them. They drove really well. Kept it clean and had really good pace. So it was good to see them have a really good run there in that last one and get the podiums.
Yeah, well, self-preservation paying out for a number of drivers tonight, so there'll be a healthy little boost point for a couple of drivers after this evening. But next round we will be making our way to Okayama, so another track that's going to be very well suited to these cars. A lot more open than what we are tonight, but I'm sure you'll be looking forward to that in 2 weeks' time. Yeah,
that'll be good. Yeah, Okayama's a very nice track. I do very much enjoy that track. Yeah, it should be fun on these things. There'll probably be a little bit of draft, but hopefully not too much. I don't really enjoy the tracks for draft fest, to be honest. I just don't find it that interesting personally. I'm one of those people, I guess. But yeah, it'll be good fun, and I'm sure it'll be more great battling and more great spectacle to watch.
All right, before we let you go and spray the champagne tonight, do you want to do a shout out to your teammates or any of your team sponsors?
Yeah, would be SC, but I don't really want to waste it. I want to keep drinking it. Big shout out to obviously the HER guys for the continued support as always through everything. They're fantastic. Obviously Henry and the crew. Big thanks again to Henry for the delivery. Looks so good on this car. He did such a great job with it. But he's just a master with paints. And yeah, big thanks to SRC as well, and all that. And obviously big thanks to Ira and his crew for running an awesome series. It's every week. The racing's top notch, and it's just great fun, and it's awesome. So big kudos to Ira for all he does, and Ozicar, and big thanks to you guys for putting on a great show.
No, well, we're just here sitting back calling it. It's the drivers there that make the show. So, well done tonight on some great results. We'll see how things pan out as the stewards and the officials do their thing. But nonetheless, walking away with your head held high tonight after a great result.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
Well, there's a couple other faces we don't often get to speak to post-race in Ozicar. Now, it's not his first time in the commentary box, but we'll bring in Leon Williams. How was the pressure on you with that pole position, the way that the invert 20 worked out?
That was serious pressure. No, it wasn't too bad. Everyone seems to be behaving themselves in this one now, so I had good faith that people weren't going to take me out, and I had a bit of luck.
Well, certainly there was a lot going on across all of the races, and you really did all you could to hold your own in that race number 2 as well. Certainly watching the mirrors for 15 laps potentially.
Yeah, it was. It was a busy race. I was trying not to block it all, but I was certainly making sure that I was taking my own lines. One of the few times that I've been able to finish a race, I think, without worrying about who was behind me, which was really encouraging, I think.
Yeah, and a podium finish there in race number 2 as well, just to give you then another great starting spot for race number 3 at a track where the passing only really happens if the guy in front makes a mistake.
Yeah, and thanks to a few of the really good guys, they did make a few mistakes, and I managed to stay up there in a reasonable position. I'll certainly take those finishes.
Yeah, no doubt. Congratulations, and your name's always on our lips, but a little more this round here at Tsukuba before we go to Okayama in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the replay on YouTube and just seeing the Q Club Locked On Lads Black Sheep racing car. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Seeing that on the video feed for a little bit should be good for watching, I think.
Well, brilliant. Thanks, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
All right, we'll keep our podium congratulations moving along as we welcome Reese Howe to the commentary box now. So, Reese, welcome up to the commentary box after all that action. A great result in race number 1, top 10, but then things just got better from there on in with a race 2 podium and, of course, race 3 podium there, rounding out your night. You've got to be walking away with a big smile on your face after that.
Yeah, I certainly am, boys. It's thanks for having me as well. It worked out really well in that second race, just to manage to avoid a couple incidents and climbed up the grid, and it was great to get back up on the podium. So congratulations to Thomas as well in that last race. He definitely had a bit of pace, and he managed to get past and hold it to the end, which was good. So
great result there in race number 2. You're up 10 positions from where you started. So a good result in race 1, starting outside of the top 10 in race 2, and then just making sure you kept your nose clean and a soldier of good fortune, I guess, to find yourself on the podium there. Some great pace because you were really pushing Sean Doyle for the win there early on in race number 2, and of course battling with Thomas there side by side for what seemed like lap after lap in the feature race tonight. So really good pace, and hopefully you can carry that through until the round in a fortnight's time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hoping to. So we'll see how we go, and looking forward to it. So
Do you think this style of track really suited your style of driving, or do you think you'll be more comfortable next round at Okayama?
I do really enjoy this track. It's been a favourite of mine for quite a while. So, yeah, I don't mind the next one as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we compare. Hopefully, we've got the pace there as well, and yeah, we can try and get back up on this podium. So.
Well, your championship campaign took a huge boost tonight, so you kept your nose clean. You had some amazing results, so congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you do a repeat again in 2 weeks' time. Well done, mate.
Hopefully. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Well, let's clear out the commentary box to bring in Donald Sabinell. And a podium in this one, 4th in the race before, 11th in race number 1, just chipping away at it all round long.
Yes. I'm pretty amazed I managed to make it onto the podium of this race. I definitely wasn't expecting it.
Well, when there's chaos, you've got to be there to pick up the pieces, and you certainly did. Using that reverse grid maybe a little bit in race number 2 and carrying the momentum forward from there.
Yeah, that definitely helped. But yeah, I was just trying to make passes and stuff where I could, but it just seemed so difficult. But yeah, I was able to just avoid as many incidents as I could, and yeah, just worked my way up that way.
You can count the braking zones on one hand, but in this F4 car, where was the challenge of Tsukuba? Where were you trying to push the limits and just to find a 1/10 of a second that would obviously create huge differences in qualifying and in the race?
I think that probably the most important one that I was trying with was just that last turn. But it's so easy to mess it up and then just lose time.
Well, you didn't mess it up too bad, and you didn't lose too much time, because in a race where everyone else's finishing results look like a yo-yo, you manage a pretty decent average finish and a good haul of points.
Yeah. No, it was definitely good points. So yeah, I'll take that.
Looking quick in green, plenty of teammates out there. How was it as a whole?
It was very competitive. I'm really enjoying the racing. So this series and this season has been awesome. Really, really fun, especially in this car.
Great to hear, and great to hear from a bunch of podium sitters that maybe a different circuit or a different format wouldn't have thrown up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this circuit, so yeah.
Well, the circuit might be a fan of you, but have you got anyone you want to thank?
Russell, Team Milo boys, and the top split gents. They always help me out. So yeah.
Fantastic. Catch you in 2 weeks.
Thanks. Bye.
That was our 3rd place getter tonight here at Subaka. Oh, that'll do. Donald.
You know what? It totally works for you, yes.
Yeah, I'll call it what I call it. Donald Sabinell there, almost lost for words, so quite surprised that he found himself on the podium there with some good luck after qualifying P11 early in the night. So that just about wraps up round 6 of the Ozicar Formula 4 Series here, Season 1. So we are at the halfway point. So from here on, we start counting down to the final round at Bathurst for round number 12. But we've got plenty more racing to happen before we actually get there. Next week, or next fortnight, I should say, we are off to Okayama. So we've made plenty of mention of that tonight. And a nice big track, plenty of runoff, and it will be a draft fest along that back straight. So back to some slipstreaming, and we won't necessarily be relying on driver error or heavy braking. It'll be a bit more of a strategic race.
Absolutely, it could be. Make sure you catch us for that. Follow us on Simspeed wherever you may be watching. Subscribe on YouTube. And of course, thanks again to everyone who makes the racing and the broadcast possible. Prestige Trophy Badge and Engracing, the Locked On iRacing podcast on all of your platforms with some fantastic guests. Sim Racing Leagues and the No Social Hate campaign. It's been David Haynes, Jason Fewens with me, Jay Kennedy directing. Make sure you catch us in 2 weeks' time for Ozicar Formula 4 Series at Okayama.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney. Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled.
Second very close. These guys, I want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.